Welcome to Irish Illustrated Instant Analysis, brought to you by the RVMH Housing Hall of Fame in Elkhart, Indiana. I'm Tim O'Malley with Tim Prister of Irish Illustrated, John Brice of the Football Scoop. And as they say, we have a developing situation with Notre Dame at 1-1. I don't think it's something we expected the way it happened. And we're in West Lafayette, Indiana for the first time since 2013.
Well, when you say must-wins, this is an absolute must-win for Notre Dame. And look, this is still the same football team it was 2 weeks ago. I'm not sure that they walk into Ross-Ade Stadium real confident as they were that day in College Station. But this is something that and we've seen the line drop as the week has gone on. Obviously has something to do with Notre Dame's quarterback situation, but Notre Dame's a better football team here. Certainly Purdue has added some strength and talent in the transfer portal, but Notre Dame's a much better football team here. They just need to get back to doing what they do first and foremost defensively, and offensively they've got to find a little bit of a path because they're a little bit lost right now, and they have a quarterback situation going on here today.
And JB, it's been 2 games of poor offense. It was exceptionally poor, of course, last week. And I think the concern is, can Riley Leonard, while injured, play a consistent football game for 60 minutes?
Yeah, and the Irish found out in a hard way last week it's cruel to be kind. They were too kind of host to Northern Illinois, and it bit them in the end. And so they have to see Riley Leonard is fully committed to playing today. He's made that clear on the practice field this week. I've talked to people close to Riley Leonard as late as last night. They expect him to go out today and give it his all. Notre Dame is optimistic that Riley Leonard will play the complete game. I don't know that we've heard anything that Steve Angeli has done on the practice field. We don't see practice. We haven't heard anything that Steve Angeli's done to make Notre Dame feel like it's got any sort of decision to make at quarterback. Riley Leonard is going to play. Marcus Freeman said Thursday that things had not changed in that regard. I talked to some people within the program later in the week. Riley Leonard, I was told, got the overwhelming majority of reps with the first-team offense over the course of the week of preparation. Marcus Freeman, we know, had a great pulse on his team at Texas A&M. We saw him in the tunnel before the game do that he said was calculated to take the pressure off of his team. Didn't have the pulse of his team last week. Practiced them physically, but we heard poor practices despite being physical. Does Marcus Freeman have the pulse of his team today? Does Notre Dame's offense have a pulse period today?
And Tim, it's not all about the quarterback. Obviously our concern is if Riley Leonard lands on that left side, which players are prone to do if you're going to run 10 times. I mean, some of that can just be escaping the pocket. That could be the issue, but he needs help as well. Mitchell Evans coming back and escalating his reps should be key. They need a running game to settle in and stick with the running game, I would think, as well here.
Yeah, the offensive line certainly is going to have to step up today. What do they have, 16 combined starts now? It's moving up.
It's back to being a story.
Yeah, it is. But, they're going to have to get some push. And we talked about earlier in the week that, Purdue's going to probably be very aggressive up front and aggressive on the back end of man-to-man coverage. They need to make them pay for that. It's as simple as that. And we know that. The one thing about the Notre Dame offense that has been fairly consistent has been the running backs.
Right.
The top 2 running backs have put up good numbers and a good average per carry. But, jumping back to the quarterback situation, there's no doubt that, they've said it from the very beginning that Riley Leonard was going to play and he'd be healthy enough to play. The question is, can he be effective enough?
And stay healthy.
Healthy. And forget health for a minute. Can he be effective enough playing the quarterback position? That's the question. He wasn't last week. In fairness to him, he played half the game injured, and so some of the inaccuracies, including the downfield interception, was certainly impacted by that. But Riley Leonard has to play better. Whether Steve Angeli gets a shot at it or not today, we don't know, but the quarterback play has to be a lot better than it's been.
And JB, I think it's most Notre Dame fans, but if you would have gone to the Northern Illinois game and Notre Dame didn't play well on offense, you'd think, okay, well, they still won 23-7. The defense was not the culprit. The defense did get pushed around. The defensive line did get pushed around, and on the back end, they gave up explosives. The defensive line has to return to form at this point.
We talk about Marcus Freeman proving through his first 29 games as head coach that typically his teams bounce back from poor performances. Will Riley Mills bounce back from a poor performance last week? He's a team captain. He took such huge strides forward the back half of last season. That's got to carry over starting today immediately. And Notre Dame has not been terrible on money downs, but Notre Dame did not remotely defensively get off the field enough last week on money downs. And then offensively, we know that they have been terrible on money downs. I think they're now 5 for 22 on the season on third downs, and they want to be a 50% or better third down offense, and obviously that's not even 25%. So they've got to, or barely 25%. So they've got to get better on the money downs on both sides of the ball.
Purdue has big receivers, big physical receivers, got some help from the transfer portal. I don't question Notre Dame's coverage ability or tackling ability, but they're going to have to be on point tackling today because they're effective in the open field, use of stiff arms. There's some matchups that aren't easy out there against Purdue for the Irish defense.
Yeah, I mean, certainly Hudson Card can run. He's going to put pressure on Notre Dame's defense. Maccabee, their running back, has been successful. A little bit unorthodox running style, I would say, but he's been very effective. But I like Notre Dame's matchup against their receivers. They have improved. Edrin, the big receiver that transferred from Florida Atlantic's a good football player. But I expect the Notre Dame defense to return to the Notre Dame defense. What we saw last week, they gave up 388 yards, which doesn't sound like a ton, but it was the most that they had given up in 17 games. So I expect the Notre Dame defense to get back to normal. That means limiting Purdue to under 20 points. Notre Dame's offense is just going to have to be good enough to outscore Purdue.
And on the other side of the ball, offensively, Jaden Greathouse, they need more out of Jaden Greathouse. We won't know if Jordan Faison is playing because he was not on the injury report. So there's not going to be a report about Jordan Faison. He wasn't on it originally. If there's going to be a lot of press coverage and there is a dynamite safety on the back end for Purdue, the passing game is going to have to contribute to the running game. If they're putting 8 in the box, you got to beat press coverage, and Riley Leonard's going to have to make some throws.
And they're going to have to do some stuff to help Riley Leonard out schematically with some quicker developing things over the middle. We've seen that backside screen. We've seen them be effective with their screens to Bo Collins and a couple of other receivers. We need to see more of that out of Notre Dame if Notre Dame is going to stride forward offensively. But you're right, I expect that Purdue will stack the box very much, bring a lot of people, probably 8 guys within 8 yards of the line of scrimmage, I think is what we're looking at. And Notre Dame has to do things to combat that, whether that's, we haven't really seen a draw to the tailbacks out of this offense, and we've seen it only selectively utilized with Riley Leonard. I think Riley Leonard, if they believe they can run him, and they've indicated that they believe Riley Leonard will operate as normal today, I think it could be a day where Riley Leonard hurts Purdue with the quarterback draw.
I like the use of tailback, halfback, flanker, split end. We got to get the old school going here for Notre Dame, right? Hey, we thought game 1 was important. How about game 3 for Irish fans of the program? This has been Irish Illustrated Instant Analysis, brought to you by the RV Manufactured Housing Hall of Fame in Elkhart, and we will be back post-game. Notre Dame, number 18 Notre Dame at Ross-Ade Stadium against Purdue.